The path of the victorious soul. The dawn of triumph is not heralded by the mere awakening of desire, nor is it crowned by fleeting moments of exaltation. The path to victory is forged in the silent corridors of wisdom, where faith is the first light that flickers in the darkness, but knowledge is the enduring flame that dispels the night. Faith opens the gate. Knowledge walks the road. Faith battles the storms. Knowledge commands the winds. Faith trusts in the unseen. Knowledge sees beyond the veil. Faith is the whisper of the soul yearning for fulfillment. Knowledge is the voice of understanding that speaks with the authority of experience. Faith is the dreamer gazing upon the distant horizon. Knowledge is the traveler who reaches its end. The way of the victorious soul is paved with both, but only knowledge leads to its summit. A life triumphant is not the mere accumulation of facts nor the memorization of scriptures, but the deep comprehension of existence itself. The wise do not mistake bookish intellect for enlightenment, nor do they measure knowledge in the quantity of words spoken. True wisdom is carved upon the heart by the hands of experience, and its truths are grasped not by mere hearing, but by the depth of one's living. Without knowledge, man wanders lost. Without wisdom, he remains blind. There is no redemption for folly, but through the illumination of wisdom. There is no deliverance for the impure, but through the sanctification of truth. No man can flee the trials of life except by mastering the art of living, and mastery is born of understanding. There is no permanent peace but in the awakened mind. A heart purified of self, a mind illuminated by wisdom, these are the twin pillars upon which the house of tranquility stands. Yet, the hand of salvation is never withdrawn, for knowledge may be sought by the ignorant, and virtue may be embraced by the sinful. The path to victory is not closed, nor is it reserved for the mighty alone. The way of blamelessness is open to all rich or poor, learned or unlearned, strong or weak, and he who walks it finds deliverance from bondage, strength in his trials, and the crown of triumph awaiting him at the journey's end. And so the echoes of rejoicing resound in the heavens, for the chains of the captive are broken, and the burden of the weary is lifted. The universe smiles upon the seeker who has found his way, upon the soul that has risen from the depths of despair into the heights of wisdom's embrace. The victorious soul is one who has conquered himself. He is no longer a prisoner of fear, nor a thrall to sorrow, nor a servant of vice. He has slain the old self, heavy with sin and shadow, and has given birth to a new self, radiant with purity and peace. He does not look back upon the ruins of his former ignorance with regret, but forward to the shining path of endless understanding. He is beyond the reach of suffering, for suffering is but the echo of an unmastered mind. Anxiety and fear, regret and lamentation, the gnawing pains of unsatisfied longing, these are specters that haunt only the house of the unwise. They cannot live where wisdom dwells, for wisdom is the dawn that banishes all shadows. Where darkness reigns, light has not yet entered. Where turmoil prevails, understanding has not yet taken root. He who is consumed by selfish desires is forever followed by the specters of restlessness and dissatisfaction. Where sin walks, sorrow follows. Where self clings, suffering remains. But he who has mastered himself has found the wellspring of peace. Safety and assurance are his garments, contentment and joy his constant companions. He does not seek refuge in the fleeting comforts of the world, for he has built his house upon the rock of wisdom, and its foundation is unshaken by the tempests of fate. The one who triumphs over himself stands unshaken in the midst of calamity. He does not flinch when the winds of adversity rise, nor does he waver when the storms of misfortune rage. Like the scholar who no longer trembles at the examination, like the craftsman who no longer fears the test of fire, so too does the wise man greet the trials of life with calmness. knowing they are but steps upon the ladder of mastery. The scholar attains certainty not by avoiding the tests, but by overcoming them. The righteous man attains serenity not by fleeing conflict, but by proving himself steadfast when faced with the malice of others. He who once faltered at the sting of insult now stands firm, unmoved by slander or blame. He who once despaired at loss now understands that nothing can truly be taken from him, for he has found wealth beyond measure in the treasury of wisdom. This is the victory of divine knowledge, to see beyond the moment, beyond the illusion of pain and pleasure, beyond the fleeting nature of fortune and misfortune. He who walks in wisdom is no longer vulnerable to the ill will of others, for he knows that good cannot be wounded by evil. He returns love for hatred, patience for wrath, compassion for cruelty. The sword of enmity cannot cut the armor of wisdom, nor can the arrows of malice pierce the shield of understanding. The man entangled in wrongdoing believes himself besieged by the wrongs of others. He curses the injustice of the world, lamenting the cruelty of fate. He drowns in bitterness, yet he does not see that it is his own hand that stirs the waters of his suffering. He is weak because he clings to illusion. He is lost because he refuses the guiding light of wisdom. But the enlightened man has broken free. He has torn the veil of ignorance from his eyes and sees the world as it is, not as a battlefield of hostility, but as a grand design of harmony governed by unfailing law. He understands the nature of cause and effect, of action and consequence, and thus he does not mourn when life unfolds according to its own perfect order. He is above sorrow, not because he is unfeeling, but because he has transcended self. He no longer grieves for what he has lost, for he understands that all things come and go as the tide. He no longer clings to fleeting joys, for he has discovered an eternal joy within. He does not war against the inevitable, but flows with it as a river to the sea. His strength is not in conquest over others, but in mastery over himself. He is a teacher, though he does not preach, a master, though he does not command, a conqueror, though he does not subjugate. He has become an instrument of divine law, a living expression of wisdom's highest ideal. And so, let the call ring out once more. There is hope for the fallen, redemption for the lost, healing for the broken, and triumph for the weary. The gates of wisdom are open, and the throne of knowledge stands waiting for those who dare to rise from the ashes of ignorance into the light of understanding. Within you lies a kingdom, untouched by sin, unshaken by doubt, unbroken by fear. You are the heir to a throne of unassailable strength, the ruler of a domain vast as the heavens. In the depths of your being, beyond the noise of the world, beyond the illusions of the mind, the true seat of power awaits. Take up the scepter of knowledge and reign victorious over all that once held you bound.